Dear respected friends of Islam, peace be upon all of you who are watching and listening. Dear viewers, mistakes happen with every human being, but what do you say about the mistake that took the lives of millions of people? Today, we will introduce you to a truth whose horrific consequences have taught the entire world a lesson. It is a lesson that God Almighty has not made anything useless. After watching today's video, your faith in this truth will only become stronger. However, before starting this important video, I request all new viewers to subscribe to this unique Islamic channel and also press the bell icon so that you can receive notifications for informative, literary, and educational videos. Also, please like our videos to encourage us and ensure the continuity of interesting content. Now, let's begin today's important video. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, China has become much more advanced than any other country in the world today. It is also the most populous country on the planet. China has gained immense popularity for its daily innovations, and it is also referred to as the motherland of robots. But do you know what great sacrifice China made to reach this level? How many lives were lost to attain this position? The story of this event begins in 1958, when China's leader Mao Zedong decided that China should be advanced like the United States and European countries, as these were the most advanced and powerful regions at the time. Mao and his followers declared that within the next 15 years, China would surpass the US and Europe. Mao, who is also known as Menth Nung and is regarded as the revolutionary president of China, made a very significant mistake in one of his decisions. Just like everyone else, mistakes happen, and Mao made a huge mistake with one of his decisions. To overtake America and Europe, Mao launched a campaign called the Great Leap Forward. In Urdu, this translates to a big leap ahead. However, what Mao didn't realize was that this campaign would prove to be disastrous for China. In reality, Mao believed that China's rapidly growing population was the secret to its development. According to him, if this growing population was nurtured properly, China's development would speed up rapidly. Hence, he took several governmental steps to cultivate as much grain as possible on China's land and launched a surprising campaign that ultimately led to the deaths of millions of people. This campaign involved 4 animals: flies, mosquitoes, rats, and sparrows. Mao believed that these 4 animals were a major threat to the country and that they should be eliminated. According to him, the country could survive without these animals. Chinese scientists had calculated that a single sparrow could consume 4 to 5 kilograms of grain in a year and ruin many fruits. Therefore, if sparrows were eliminated, there would be an abundant supply of grain for humans, which could be sold to other countries for a significant profit. Hence, Mao started a campaign to kill these innocent birds, called the Great Sparrow Hunting. But this campaign turned into a war against these 4 animals. To eliminate them, not only the general public, but also the military was used. Dear viewers, the most hunted animal in this campaign was the innocent sparrow. To kill them, the public was organized in groups and encouraged to catch as many sparrows as possible. Drums were beaten loudly to scare the birds into flying, and when they became exhausted and fell, they were caught and killed. Not even their eggs and nests were spared. The campaign was so intense that on the very first day, 200,000 sparrows were killed. The Chinese people, in their excitement to kill the sparrows, made necklaces of their carcasses and wore them proudly. The idea of making China more advanced than the US made the Chinese people crazed in their pursuit of sparrow hunting. Within just 2 years, sparrows were completely eradicated from China. During this campaign, not only sparrows, but many other birds were also killed. As a result, many birds were wiped out in China, and this marked the beginning of China's troubled times. By 1960, China had completely succeeded in its campaign to eliminate sparrows, but this campaign disrupted the balance of nature. In fact, sparrows and other birds don't just eat grain and fruits, but they also prey on pests, which helps maintain the natural system. This cycle provides numerous benefits to humans. However, China's revolutionary leader Mao made a grave mistake. This campaign began to create many problems for China. After the elimination of sparrows, the number of destructive pests increased rapidly, and they seemed unstoppable. Dear viewers, the pest that saw the most significant increase was the locust. These locusts would arrive in the millions, completely destroying entire crops before moving on. The people of China had never witnessed such large-scale locust attacks before. Since the sparrows that used to control them were gone, it had become impossible to manage the locusts. These locusts would attack at night and consume thousands of acres of crops in just a few hours. The people of China could do nothing but watch the devastation unfold before their eyes. Many attempts were made to stop the locusts, but no methods worked. In fact, the pesticides that were used to protect the crops from the locusts started destroying even more crops. Soon, the situation in China worsened to the point where the Chinese people began facing severe food shortages, and hunger started claiming lives. When Mao realized that all the birds were vital in controlling the insects and maintaining the natural balance of life, he immediately ordered the cessation of the campaign. However, by then, it was too late. The damage to the natural system caused by human intervention would take years to correct. Due to the lack of food, people began dying from hunger. It is said that from 1958 to 1961, nearly 30 million people lost their lives, though some claim the government reported a much lower number. At that time, around 45 million people had died. This famine is considered one of the worst in China's history, and many history books have recorded its horrors. Mao's mistake unleashed devastation in China that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who reflects on it. The suffering of those who died from hunger is unimaginable, and it helps us understand the scale of destruction that occurred during that time. A Chinese journalist who was born in 1940 and witnessed all these events firsthand described the famine in his book. His words are still remembered today because he lived through those terrible times. In his book, Chinese reporter Yang Jisheng wrote that humans can never fully understand the laws of nature. Humans are indeed limited in their understanding, and Mao's mistake during the famine should be regarded as one of the worst mistakes in human history. In addition, he reveals several bitter truths in his book, including the fact that 36 million people died due to the famine. Interestingly, the Chinese government banned the publication of this book, but it was later republished after many years. This disaster in reality was the result of a wrong decision made by humans. It was a mistake that cost millions of innocent lives. The destruction of China serves as a lesson for the world about how meddling with nature can have dangerous consequences. We must leave nature's processes undisturbed. As stated in the Quran, we have not created anything in vain. I hope you have learned something from today's video and that you will not attempt to interfere with the natural processes of life. As a famous saying goes, if you don't learn from your past will repeat itself. Friends, I am confident that you really enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like it, share it with your friends on Facebook and WhatsApp, and support us. Also, don't forget to share your valuable feedback in the comments. That's all for today's video. Until the next one, may Allah protect you.